Thank you, Chairman. Earlier this week I was criticised on some social media for tabling a parliamentary question on social welfare policy and spending, and I was slightly puzzled as I found it hard to understand how people felt it was inappropriate that I would put out a question on how 40 billion or 20% of our 40% or 20 billion of our state spending is actually allocated. And I firmly believe that a TD who is disinterested in how state money is being spent is failing in his or her duty to the constituents and also to taxpayers. In any debate on social welfare, social protection, I think it's important to know what the aims and achievements, what is social protection for, what are we trying to achieve. In my view, social protection represents a helping hand. It's there as a support for a person in a difficult time or difficult need, and it's a positive influence in our society. And it's the very definition of solidarity, a promise that the state will step in cases where people need to overcome challenges and traumatic events. I know that these are not ideals shared in all countries in the world, but I think in any democracy I think they should be. However, social welfare is not something which should support that minority of capable citizens who choose not to work, and I stress minority. This is particularly true at a time of great stress and constraints on our state finances, where every euro counts more than ever before, and where there is an added obligation to ensure that those most in need are supported. We must also be mindful of those people who are unable, due to illness or disability, to work. Despite significant economic pressures, the Government has, with Budget 2014, been able to protect core social welfare rates, including the state pension, the invalidity pension, illness benefit and disability allowance, the survivors' pensions and carers benefit and allowances. This is in addition to protecting pupil-teacher ratios, protecting student grant levels, protecting the 1.3 billion budget for special needs and learning resource education, protecting the weekly fuel allowance, and announcing the provision of free GP care for every child under the age of 6. And also free travel, of course, has been protected. These are real and concrete measures that reflect the Government's commitment to tackling poverty and protecting the most vulnerable in our society, as agreed in the programme for government between the two parties. Minister Joan Burton is the Minister for Social Protection at the most challenging times in the history of the state, and no other minister has faced such immense challenges and problems and issues. And the minister has to be commended in effectively managing the department, overseeing the continued payment and support of well over 1 million of our citizens. And this is happening only a few short years after a time when it wasn't at all certain that the state would actually have the finance and wherewithal to provide weekly payments. As also, Minister, was introduced the one-stop shop for job seekers with the Intrio service, something that has been talked about for decades, but what the Minister and this Government has been able to do. And this is to allow one-to-one tailored assistance which will better meet the needs of young and not so young. The flip side of social welfare is getting people back to work, and increasing numbers of jobs means obviously a decrease in the number of people requiring social assistance. Job creation is the #1 priority of government, and we have experienced 15 consecutive months of increased employment and an extra 34,000 jobs being created in the past 12 months, some 4,200 of those in the West. The success of existing measures can be seen in the 7.5% fall in the unemployment figures in Galway last month. Nationally, the live register has fallen below 400,000 for the first time since May 2009, and of course there's quite a distance to go, but Budget 2014 builds on this success with a range of measures that are pro-jobs and pro-local business. I was particularly pleased, again, and it relates to this whole area, although not confined to this bill, but the decision in relation to protecting and maintaining the 9% VAT rate for the tourism sector, which is particularly important. Also the abolition of the air travel tax, and we see the welcome announcement in Shannon this week in relation to the extra number of flights, or this morning I should say, and also 8 million to be invested in the Wild Atlantic Way. These are all measures which will get people back to work. We must continue our efforts to work hard to ensure that social welfare payments, as well as the efforts at reform, are focused on assisting genuine, honest citizens. A job is central to a person's self-development and a person's self-worth, and it's vital that we create the best conditions so that as many people as possible can find employment. And the social welfare system plays a huge part in this. Pre-budget, I met with a number of groups, including in my own area, the Nartacara Community Active Retirement Group and the Moycullen Active Retirement Association in my own village. And at that meeting in Moycullen pre-budget, I suppose they had 4 main issues that they were concerned about. Firstly, the state pension that would be protected and maintained. Secondly, in relation to free travel scheme. Thirdly, in relation to the household package. And fourthly, in relation to medical cards. Now, I was confident enough at that meeting to be quite clear that, in my view, the state pension would be protected and also that the free travel would be protected. I wasn't as clear, and obviously that has come true in relation to the household benefits package, and it is regrettable that there has to be cuts, but as I explained, the choices are quite limited. Finally, in relation to the medical cards, and again, it's not an issue for this bill, but I think we need to have much clearer communication from the HSE, particularly to the elderly, in relation to what is allowed, the changes that have taken place, and also that they don't be scared by receiving letters that are somewhat threatening or somewhat difficult to follow, or sort of language that needs to be more couched and more caring. So again, I'd like to commend the Minister and support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.